Hey everyone, welcome back to DevPulse, your weekly dive into what's happening across the game dev industry. We've got big award wins, big financial hits, some surprising news out of CD Projekt Red, new Game Passing confirmations, and one of the most painful write-downs we've seen in quite a while. So grab a coffee, hit like if you enjoy keeping up with game dev news, and let's get into the major stories shaking up the industry this week. First up, the stories everyone's been talking about, The Witcher 4, and it's official, CD Projekt Red will not be showing anything for the game at the Game Awards this year. During a recent investor call and follow-up statements, co-COO Michał Nowakowski confirmed that they're not bringing any new material to the show. No teaser, no logo, no dev diary, nothing. Honestly, it's a bold move. The Witcher franchise is one of the most recognizable RPG brands in the world. Showing anything, even a vague cinematic, would have dominated the internet for days. But the studio seems intentionally cautious this time. This comes after years of working to rebuild their public reputation post Cyberpunk 2077's launch issues. It looks like the studio wants to avoid overhyping and under-delivering ever again. And what does this mean? The game is definitely not close to release. CD Projekt Red is pacing their marketing differently, likely much closer to launch, and the earliest meaningful reveal may now be mid to late 2026. Fans are a bit disappointed, of course, but the dev side of me respects the restraint. Sometimes silence is the smarter long game. Next up, Microsoft has rolled out its confirmed Game Pass additions for December, and as usual, the holiday season is shaping up to be a big month. The official Xbox channels released their weekly next week on Xbox update, followed by a broader December list showing several titles joining the service. The list includes Marvel Comic Invasion, Lost Records Bloom and Rage, Routine, a game about digging a hole, and Dawnkeeper. While the list shifts a bit week to week, the important thing is that Xbox continues to push strong third-party support into the subscription ecosystem. It's clear Microsoft is using December to keep players inside the Game Pass loop, a strategy that's been extremely effective in boosting long-term engagement. And the games leaving Xbox Game Pass are Barbie Project Friendship, Lords of the Fallen, Octopath Traveler 2, and Steam World Build. And the bigger picture, Game Pass remains Microsoft's core gaming business, even more than Xbox hardware. Developers are becoming increasingly reliant on subscription deals for visibility. December's Game Pass drop highlights how Microsoft positions the service as a holiday hub for players looking to experiment with new games during time off. Now for the biggest financial story of the week and maybe of the year. Paradox Interactive has officially written down roughly $37 million on Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. This came straight from an official Paradox press release, and this is massive. A write-down of this size means one thing: the game is not performing anywhere close to expectations. And the reason? Well, the reception hasn't been great. Bloodlines 2 released in October, and reactions have been mixed to negative across critics and players alike. Many reviews highlight uneven design, missing features, and an overall feeling that the game simply doesn't live up to the legacy of the original. On top of that, investigative pieces and interviews with former developers have painted a picture of a long and troubled production cycle, multiple studio changes, creative resets, and a vision that apparently never fully stabilized. Paradox leadership took responsibility in the press release, stating that the updated 30-day sales forecast forced them to recognize the loss now rather than wait. They even mentioned reassessing where the company's strengths truly lie, specifically their strategy and simulation route. This is significant for a few reasons. It highlights the financial risk of reviving cult classics. Bloodlines has a passionate fanbase, but doesn't always translate into broad commercial appeal. Paradox tried to go big outside their comfort zone, and a gamble backfired. Other publishers will likely take this as a cautionary tale. IP nostalgia doesn't guarantee AAA level returns. For developers, this is a reminder: scope, stability, and consistent vision matter more than brand name alone. Now for some positive news and one of the nicest surprises of awards season. Expedition 33 has picked up multiple wins at 2025 Golden Joystick Awards, including major creative categories such as Best Storytelling, Best Visual Design, and Best Soundtrack. This is huge for the team behind the game. Expedition 33 had strong pre-launch buzz thanks to its painterly French art-inspired aesthetic and its distinctive narrative direction, but few expected it to dominate an awards show so heavily. what makes this interesting from a dev perspective, it shows players are and critics still crave originality. Games with strong artistic identity continue to resonate beyond raw production value. A mid-budget title beating AAA behemoths matters. It suggests the industry is shifting, or at least widening the range of what prestige gaming looks like. The win will boost the studio's long-term prospects, award momentum affecting funding, hiring, and visibility for years. For many, Expedition 33 is becoming the indie breakout equivalent of something like Hades or Disco Elysium, but with a stronger emphasis on painterly combat and surreal narrative. Honestly, I love seeing creative risks getting this kind of recognition. Alright, it's time for Rumor Rundown, the part of the show where we sift through the industry whispers, leaks, job ads, and my uncle works at Nintendo posts. First up, Dead Rising might be rising again. Several insiders are claiming that Capcom is working on a new Dead Rising game, and the wild part is that it's supposedly a direct sequel to the original Frank West storyline. If true, this would mark a full circle return to this franchise roots. Most beloved entries were the ones centered on Frank, and Dead Rising fans have been begging for a back-to-basics reboot after the series drifted tonally over the years. This could signal a tonal reset toward the classic mall survival chaos, the return of Frank West's iconic chaotic energy, and maybe even a modern reimagining of sandbox zombie swarm tech using the RE engine. As with any Capcom rumor, plausible, exciting, but waiting for that reveal. Next, Ubisoft might be revving up another major racing title. A recent Ubi job listing mentions work on an unannounced racing game for one of Ubisoft's established open-world franchises, which has people connecting the dots to The Crew. The timing makes sense. The Crew Motorfest performed well. Ubisoft is investing heavily in live racing ecosystems, and Motorfest's engine and tech stack are perfectly suited for a sequel built faster and more efficiently. The listing mentioned vehicle handling, open-world systems, and live service tooling, basically the DNA of The Crew. Is it The Crew 3? No confirmation yet, but the signs are pointing towards something big happening in Ivory Tower's garage. And finally, the rumor that's been circling the solar system for ages, a known Destiny leaker claims that Destiny 3 is now in active development. This is interesting because Bungie is in a complicated spot. Destiny 2 is still running, but long-term player engagement has dipped. Bungie is restructuring after layoffs, and Marathon has been consuming major internal resources. Destiny 3 would give Bungie a fresh start, a cleaner engine baseline, a lore reboot or time skip opportunity, and a chance to fix long-standing systemic issues that Destiny 2 can't shake. Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic Games, argued that labels like made with AI on storefronts such as Steam make no sense. According to him, AI is quickly becoming a standard part of nearly all game production workflows, so singling out all games that use AI is pointless. He said those tags make sense in places like art licensing marketplaces or galleries, where authorship and rights matter, but on a commercial game store, not so much. From his view, if AI tools become universal in game development, the AI tag will just become meaningless clutter. But of course, not everyone agrees. A developer at Valve publicly pushed back, warning that removing AI use disclosures could encourage low-effort or IP-ambiguous content under the guise of AI creativity. He argued that transparency matters, especially as AI-generated art and assets become more common. Supporters of disclosure say even if AI becomes ubiquitous, players deserve to know that parts of a game were created or assisted by AI, especially assets such as art, voiceovers, or dialogue. For many consumers, that affects how they view a game's authenticity, effort, and ethical stance. So, what do I think? For studio or dev team, AI is a tool like a physics engine or a shader compiler, but as more people in gaming become wary about generative AI effects on creative labor, author identity, and originality, there is value in transparency. If AI becomes the norm, I get Sweeney's point, maybe highlighting its use isn't that useful anymore. There's still a strong argument that consumers, especially those who care about creative integrity, deserve the choice to know what they're buying. Let me know, do you think games should carry AI use labels, or is that just an unnecessary information fluff? And if we go AI first across the board, will the label even matter anymore? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'd love to discuss. So that's it for this week's Dev Pulse. And honestly, what a week. Witcher 4 is staying hidden for now, Game Pass continues to be Microsoft's biggest weapon, Bloodlines 2 becomes one of the harshest write-downs in recent memory, and Expedition 33 surprises everyone but also doesn't surprise anyone. And the entire industry keeps navigating a complicated transition period. If you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss the weekly breakdowns. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.